Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel, and welcome back to Sniper Elite 5, where today we will be reviewing everything that's happened in the game's first season. I've split this video up into chapters, each one covering a specific DLC pack or update, so if you just want my quick opinions on one thing, just skip to that section. And I also want to plug my Discord server real quick. It's a great place to hang out with other snipers, so give it a go. So, without further ado, let's get into this. I'll start with reviewing the launch day content for Sniper Elite 5, namely Wolf Mountain and the silenced P38. Wolf Mountain is a relatively poor mission. It is good for invasion and it offers you the chance to kill Hitler, but realistically it isn't a very good level past this. If you want to kill Hitler, then good for you, but you probably want to consider Target Führer from Sniper Elite 4 instead, as that level is a million times better than Wolf Mountain is. I can't stop you from buying Wolf Mountain, but as someone in a position of power informing potential buyers so they can make an educated purchase decision, I cannot recommend Wolf Mountain. I just can't, which is awful, but that's just how it is, I'm afraid. Wolf Mountain costs £5.99 and includes the Wolf Mountain level only. The Season Pass, which includes Wolf Mountain, the silenced P38 and all 4 of the Season Packs, costs $29.99, and that is my recommended purchase. You should just buy the Season Pass and be done with it. The packs individually are super expensive, so it's just better to get the Season Pass. You'll save money in the long run, and it's just an easier way of doing it. The P1938 Suppressed Special DLC includes the silenced P38, which is my favourite silenced pistol in the game. The P38's main distinction over the HDM is that it does far more damage, being on par with the more powerful unsilenced pistols. The P38 is also very accurate, and is all round an excellent weapon. Its one downside is that the audible range is much higher than that of the Welrod and the HDM at almost 20 meters, but it's really not too much of an issue in most cases. The P1938 Suppressed Special DLC includes the P38 only and costs £3.29. Additionally, before the launch of the season, we had the Marksman community event, which saw players across the globe work together to achieve the most kills possible. The rewards for our efforts were the PK Berlin scope and the M81 scope, which are effectively just B-Tech versions of the ZF39 and M84 respectively. It'd be great to see another community event like this, maybe between the 2 seasons, to keep the community engaged whilst we wait for the next round of DLCs. The season kicked off proper with the Landing Force Mission and Weapon Pack. This pack included Landing Force, which is in my opinion the best level Sniper Elite 5 has to offer, with excellent provision for snipers, which is something the game's other levels strangely missed out on. The sheer multitude of ultra long range shots that one can achieve is truly excellent, but it also works well with close quarters or stealthy playstyles. My one problem is that the enemy variety is poor, with only 1 or 2 higher ranking enemies in a sea of infantry and engineers. However, every part of this level seems to have been designed with the Sniper Elite 4 mindset, and it really echoes Sansolini Island in its overall approach to level design, which is perhaps the highest praise I think this level could receive. The DLC also came with the Delisle Carbine, which is arguably the most interesting and effective weapon in the entire game. The Delisle is permanently silenced, with an audible range in the low teens, which makes it ridiculously effective, especially in the levels that are more geared towards stealth like War Factory or Conqueror. The Delisle is also the only gun in the game that can take a silencer and a bayonet at the same time, which makes it truly overpowered. The Delisle is truly one of the few ways you can completely redefine the game, and I cannot recommend it highly enough as a purchase. To complement the Delisle, the PPSH was also added. The PPSH is a high-capacity close-range beast with the option to fit a 71-round drum magazine, which is quite frankly preposterous. The fire rate can be in excess of 1200 rounds per minute as well, with the lightened bolt, which makes this thing seriously deadly. If you haven't yet used the PPSH, imagine just getting a Type 100 and turning it up to 11, and you'll get the idea, it's insane. I have uploaded in-depth videos on both of these guns, so do feel free to take a look at these before you purchase anything. Additionally, the attachments for these guns are unlocked through workbenches and kill lists in the landing force level, so you do not have to grind any challenges to unlock them. It's also worth noting that this is all one pack, these items cannot be bought separately. Also added as free content for everyone alongside this update was the Flooded Village multiplayer map, which is, in terms of Sniper Elite multiplayer maps, pretty decent. But I still don't particularly enjoy it, but that's more of a I don't enjoy the entire multiplayer experience, rather than the map is bad. It is worth noting that this is an entirely new environment, and it's not just recycled from a single player mission, which is really nice. The firing range was also added, as it's been missing from the game's launch, and the Sniper Elite 5 firing range is undoubtedly the best one in the series, as every gun can be used in every range, and the environment it is in is just really nice. The Landing Force Mission and Weapon Pack, which includes the Landing Force Mission, the Delisle Carbine, and the PPSH, costs £11.99. The second DLC released was the Concealed Target Weapon and Skin Pack, which includes 2 ghillie suit skins, the HS-22 pistol, better known as the HDM, and the P-Dot Camo weapon skin. The ghillie suits are based off Carl and Monica, so they share voice lines with these characters, so if you really wanted to run around as a woman in a ghillie suit, but like the rest of the population you really hate Monica, then you're out of luck. The ghillie suits both look really nice though, and are good for if you're invaded or if you want to play multiplayer, as both blend in very well with foliage, especially if you're in the dark. Arguably this is a scummy tactic, but I endorse it because it's really very funny when you just pop out of a bush and bayonet charge the invader who has absolutely no idea what the hell is going on. The HDM is also added in this pack, and it is an excellent silenced pistol. It has the highest muzzle velocity of any of the pistols, somehow, so it remains accurate out to a range, despite the fact that unfortunately you can't put a scope on it, which is a real shame because the HDM would really suit a scope. The HDM is incredibly quiet and has very low recoil, making it the perfect weapon for rapid follow-up shots, which definitely helps negate the fact that the HDM is about as powerful as a Highways Agency traffic womble. Overall, the HDM is a really great silenced pistol and definitely your best option if you don't have the P38. Also added in this pack is the P-Dot Camo skin for secondaries and pistols, which drew widespread hatred for the community because of how shockingly ugly it was. Now it's all down to personal preference, but I, and to be honest, anyone else with eyes, will tell you that they really can't recommend this camo because not only is it hideous, it also doesn't blend in with anything in the game, so I can't even tell you that it gives a tactical advantage. Honestly, the default green camo is superior in every way to this, and the default green camo cannot be described by the word bubonic, which is quite the opposite of the P-Dot, and I think that's justification enough on not to use this camo. Also added alongside this update was a free survival map, Amongst the Rubble, which is set in the ruins of Saint-Nazaire and encompasses basically the whole of Mission 8 except the submarine pen. Amongst the Rubble is probably the hardest survival map, as it never gives you any breathing room at all, which really makes it very difficult to complete, and it makes it quite a unique challenge compared to the other survival maps. The Concealed Target Weapon and Skin Pack costs £8.99 and includes the ghillie suit characters, HDM and P-Dot weapon camo. Added next was the Up Close and Personal Weapon and Skin Pack, which includes the Winchester 1885, Irma 36, better known as the EMP, and the tank top character skins for Carl and Monica. Back when I said that the Delisle was arguably the most interesting and effective weapon in the game, the Winchester 1885 is the other argument. The Winchester is the only weapon in the game, besides the Panzerbuch, which doesn't count, that can do enough damage without upgrades to kill any enemy, anywhere on the body, at any range, and it is quite ridiculously overpowered. With the right upgrades, the rate of fire can be increased to a level where it competes with a slow Kar 98K, and it is just so much fun to use. If you fit a suppressor, it can also be really quite quiet for what it is, although if you do this I will find you, because slapping a silencer on this thing is morally wrong, rather like using non-lethal ammo or throwing rocks through the windows of a charity shop. I cannot overstate enough the brilliance of this weapon. I highly recommend it. Along with the Winchester, we also get the EMP, which, unlike real life, features an integral silencer, although this can be swapped out in favour of the regular real life unsilenced barrel. The EMP can be upgraded to do over 70 damage per shot, which is insane, and overall it kind of acts like a super quiet MP40, which is very high praise indeed. Whilst I don't think the EMP is the best choice for stealth in general, it does work at eliminating groups of 2 to 4 enemies quickly, and without alerting the entire area to your presence, which is something no other weapon can do. Also included in this pack were the tank top character skins for Carl and Monica. These skins are, in my opinion, kind of bad. The Carl version reuses the base Carl's trousers and boots anyway, so you only really get half a skin and they both just look a little off. Yeah, you can pretend to be a World War II Bruce Willis, but it doesn't really redeem them.
Aber wir sind auf einige Hindernisse gestoßen.
A wound V2. That can't be good. Gotta find where the story.
Yippee-ki-yay, mother. Added alongside this pack in a free update was a Kraken's Lair multiplayer map, which is just the submarine pen from Mission 8 repurposed as a multiplayer map. I've not played this map, because I don't really enjoy Sniper Elite multiplayer, but I imagine due to the shorter engagement ranges available, this map will feature far less camping and therefore will be more fun. The up close and personal weapon and skin pack costs £9.99 and includes the Winchester Model 1885, the EMP and the tank top skins for Carl and Monica. The final updates for Season 1 were the Conqueror Mission, Weapon and Skin Pack and the Airborne Elite Pack, which released simultaneously. The Airborne Elite Pack was a free DLC pack given to all players to celebrate Rebellion's 30th anniversary, and includes the Parachute Regiment skin, Lee Enfield No. 4 rifle, and the Union Jack weapon skin. The Parachute Regiment skin is my favourite skin in the game because it looks insanely cool and is very British indeed. It's based on Carl, so it shares his voice lines, but there is no Monica version, because Monica is about as popular as Liz Truss's mini-budget and half as useful. The Lee Enfield is a very effective bolt-action rifle, which serves as the middle ground between the Kar 98K, the Springfield and the SREM, and my god, it is the most based rifle ever made. I'm not really a huge fan of using the term based, as my audience play Sniper Elite and therefore my audience is very old, so I know that they won't know what based means, but there is really no other word that describes the way I feel about the Enfield in this game. The footage I'm showing you now, I go on an absolute tear on this bridge, and I'm being attacked from 3 angles, and the Enfield just keeps on destroying all opposition. I really don't think any other rifle could have pulled off this move quite as well as the Enfield did, and it is positively mental. If you haven't done so yet, please, God, use the Enfield. The Union Jack weapon skin is, sadly, a bit of a letdown. Its colours are garish and oversaturated, and the Union Jack is a rather complex flag compared to most flags which are just 3 stripes, and this complexity does not lend itself well to the relatively small surface area of the well rod. Had this skin been made available for the Sten or even the Enfield, it might have been better, but sadly I don't like the skin in its current state. The Airborne Elite pack includes the Parachute Regiment skin, Lee Enfield rifle and the Union Jack Wellrod skin, and is available free for all players. Released alongside the Airborne Elite pack was the Conqueror Mission, Weapon and Skin pack, which includes the Conqueror level, M30 drilling shotgun and the oak leaf paint weapon camo. The Conqueror mission is set in and around Fillet Castle and tasks you with assassinating a Nazi Panzer Division commander. The level is excellent for stealth playthroughs, but is very sparsely populated in all areas but the castle, which means that any playstyle other than stealth is not going to be too much fun. Once again we see a prime example of Sniper Elite 5 taking away options for players who want to snipe, as although there are plenty of excellent vantage points, there's just nobody to shoot at from them. Even the busiest parts of the levels have only a maximum of around 6 to 10 enemies before alarms, so you won't be getting into any large scale firefights, which is very disappointing. You know they've messed up when you have a Sniper Elite 5 level where you can't even viably just submachine gun everyone. Additionally, all the objectives are very unoriginal. There are 2 objectives for destroying flak guns and also some cannons, both of which we've seen a million times in the series before. The main objective, assassinating a general, is unoriginal and offers no real interesting ways to be completed. The other objectives, destroy a Tiger tank and kill 3 snipers, are copy-pasted from Mission 6, so much so that there are snipers in the exact same place, in the exact same church on both levels, which is shocking. If they'd wanted to reuse some assets, they could have at least reused the church from Mission 8, because unlike the Mission 6 church, that one hasn't been reused yet. Additionally, the kill list target objective is recycled from Mission 2, with the task simply being to drop a chandelier on the target, and it's much less impressive than the Mission 2 version as well. The only new objective is to destroy some vehicles under repair, which has to be done with satchel charges. Armour-piercing ammunition, anti-tank rifles, Panzerfaust and TNT cannot be used. Conqueror is a good stealth mission, but it doesn't at all accommodate for other playstyles and is deeply unoriginal with what it offers. The M30 drilling is a very interesting weapon. The image Rebellion released for the Season Pass roadmap showed that we'd be getting a Derringer pistol in this pack, which would make sense as this would mean the Season Pass gave us 2 of each type of weapon, excluding the P38 and the Enfield, which don't count. However, the Derringer, disappointingly, seems to have been cancelled, so we got the drilling instead. I have emailed Rebellion asking about the disappearance of the Derringer, but I've yet to get a response, and I probably won't. If I do, then I'll notify you all with a Discord announcement, and I'll probably put a community post on YouTube as well, so be sure to join my Discord server. It's the first link in the description. I said this in the intro and you're hearing it again, it's important. The drilling has a wealth of customization options to allow the spread of the weapon to be tightened or increased, and several different barrel options. It also has an unlockable long-range optic, which in the marketing material was overly hyped up, which made me think that it could be zeroed, kind of like a scope or something, to help with super long distance, but sadly it's a static optic. The drilling is crazily good, especially on less populated maps like Mission 1 and Conqueror, and the optional slug rounds you can take do incredible amounts of damage, and have absolutely no projectile drop or windage, which I actually don't like, as it kind of shatters the immersion when a smoothbore shotgun is more accurate at range than a finely tuned M1903 Springfield bolt-action sniper rifle with special barrel, match-grade rounds and a 16 times magnification scope. The drilling is not the real-life one that also appeared in Sniper Elite 4, instead being the inferior Zombie Army version with 3 shotgun barrels instead of 2 shotgun barrels and a rifle barrel. However, unlike the Zombie Army version, which was modelled with 3 12-gauge barrels, the Sniper Elite 5 drilling is modelled with the real configuration of barrels, despite the fact that it doesn't have this in gameplay. Overall, if you can get past the glaring inconsistencies and inaccuracies, The drilling is, in my opinion, the single most fun and perhaps the most effective secondary weapon in the game. The Conqueror mission weapon and skin pack also includes the oak leaf paint weapon skin for secondary weapons and pistols. This camouflage skin is much nicer than the unsightly P-dot weapon skins, but I still prefer the regular camouflages included in the game. Disappointingly, the oak leaf camo once again fails to blend in with any of the environments from Sniper Elite 5, except debatably places like the sub-pen from Mission 8, or inside of the Mirror's battery from Mission 5. The Conqueror mission weapon and skin pack costs £8.99, and includes the Conqueror mission, M30 drilling, and oak leaf paint weapon skin. And finally, released alongside of these DLCs was the Tide of War survival map, which is set in the village from Mission 1. Tide of War is a pretty nice survival map which blends the close quarters onslaught of Amongst the Rubble with the longer range combat of maps like Unwanted Guests. Now, finally, I want to point out the pricing and ethics of the DLCs in this season. The overall price of the season passes remained the same. In both Sniper Elites 4 and 5, it costs £29.99. But the price of the individual packs have increased. For Sniper Elite 4, the season pass netted you 12 DLC packs, one of which is Death Storm 3, which is worth the price of the season pass alone. In Sniper Elite 5, the season pass nets you only 5 DLC packs, assuming you count Target Fuhrer and the P38 as one pack, which they basically are. A direct comparison shows you that $29.99 would afford you the following in Sniper Elite 4: 5 weapon skins, 4 campaign levels, 9 character skins, and 18 new weapons. However, for $29.99, Sniper Elite 5's Season Pass will only give you 2 weapon skins, 3 campaign levels, 4 characters, and 6 weapons. You do not get the same quantity or quality of content from Sniper Elite 5. Adding to this, the DLC packs are individually far more expensive than their Sniper Elite 4 counterparts were. Additionally, a scummy business practice that I picked up on was how weapons are distributed between packs. If you wanted to buy the best stealth loadout in Sniper Elite 4, you spent £3.19 on the Silent Warfare weapons pack, which gave you the Delisle Carbine, HDM and Grease Gun, which was all the DLC stealth weapons. However, in Sniper Elite 5, if you want to buy the best stealth loadout, you have to spend £11.99 on the Landing Force pack in order to get the Delisle, $8.99 for the HDM, and then another $9.99 on the EMP, which is ridiculous. The same goes for the loud weapons, namely the Winchester, PPSH and Drilling, which are all split across the season to make you buy the most DLC packs possible. This is one of the ethically lowest forms of DLC pricing I think I've ever seen, and maybe it's time Rebellion started looking at different ways to monetize their games. Overall, Season 1 is very bittersweet for me. It added some great content. The Delisle, the Winchester, Landing Force and the PPSH were all amazing. But some of the other content, notably the character skins, survival and multiplayer maps, and to a lesser extent Conqueror, were quite lazy and oftentimes recycled. Worst yet were the abhorrent business practices made in selling the DLC, which is very upsetting for me to see, as I really like Rebellion and they're plainly doing the wrong thing here, and that is incredibly un-British for a company that prides itself on being so British. Thank you everyone for watching the video. Remember to like, subscribe and comment. It costs you nothing and it's a great way to help out the channel. Stay safe and goodbye.